for a leading health charity like Diabetes UK, content that is trusted, relevant and credible it's the number one thing we have to do. If we don't have that, we don't have the confidence of our key stakeholders and people who fundraise for us and people wanting to come to us to get the information they need to live well with diabetes. So we have to build trust with them that what we're doing is right for them, and they have to obviously approve it. And then we have audiences like NHS stakeholders, healthcare professionals, people in primary care, researchers. So they may not all be recipients of all our membership content, but they may be featured in the magazine or featured in our emails. And clearly it's vital for us to make sure those people are happy to contribute, be part of that, and also be our amplifiers. So if they know what we do and they trust it, they're more likely to talk to other people and to direct them back to us.
Welcome to Content Talks, brought to you by River Sounds, where we talk about how to get the best out of your content marketing investment. In this episode, we're lucky enough to be joined by Emma Hetherington from Diabetes UK to talk about how they make content as engaging and authentic as possible. Emma, welcome. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you for coming and talking to us.
You're welcome.
So to start with, could you give us a little bit of details about your background and your role within Diabetes UK?
Yeah, so I am the head of content and news at Diabetes UK. I am responsible for running the teams that produce online and offline content, so print content and our PR and media work as well. And a lot of what we do is aimed at people who have diabetes. It's patient health information, to help people manage their diabetes, learn more about it, and live their lives really well.
Brilliant. So you've always got your members in mind. They're the heart of the content.
Absolutely.
That you
and I think what's interesting with Diabetes UK, we're not actually a members organisation as such. Mm-hmm. We have subscribing members, but I think that everybody who comes to Diabetes UK because of their link to the condition, whether they have it themselves, whether they're friends and family of somebody who has diabetes, whether they're a healthcare professional or a researcher, all of those people feel in a way like they're members, mm-hmm. Once they've touched Diabetes UK. So we have a very interesting context in which we work, which is, as a charity, our remit is to provide information for everybody, who paying or not. And then we have a subset of people, our members, who choose to subscribe to membership and get perhaps what I'd say is a slightly more value-add experience. We want them to be closer to the charity and to be perhaps ahead of the curve when it comes to knowing what's going on. So in a way, as I say, it's interesting. We have, if you spoke to anybody who'd been in touch with Diabetes UK, I think they might think they were members already. Absolutely.
So you're educating as much as you can. What was your relationship with diabetes before? Did you know much about it, or?
Very little. Actually, my husband has got type 2 diabetes, and I think he's very much like a lot of people with type 2. Is he has this medication. He tries to live as healthily as possible, but it doesn't get in the way of his life. So in a way, I didn't really ever know very much from him. I have worked in a health context for a lot of my life, and again in membership organisations. So I worked for Weight Watchers for 15 years in innovation and content there. Right. So that is pure membership organisation. People subscribe to come and lose weight, and then at Nuffield Health as well. So I'm really interested in health and how content and communications can increase people's understanding of their own health, and also encourage them to make changes. So behaviour change, sort of aligned with content. So
fantastic. So if you were to summarise Diabetes UK in a sentence, what would that be?
So Diabetes UK is a health charity that is aiming to fight the condition so we have a world free of the harm of diabetes. whether that's through the research we fund to find a cure or to put it into remission, whether it's funding the campaigning that we do to encourage the government to take it more seriously, or whether it's helping individuals themselves to understand and manage their condition.
Great. It must be really nice to be part of that and building and working on that purpose with diabetes.
It's really incredible. And given that diabetes is an increasing issue, certainly type 2 diabetes, I think since 1998, I think the figures I saw that was about 1.6 million people with all types of diabetes in the UK in the late 90s. And now there are nearly 5 million people with diabetes. So things are really changing. Yeah. But there's a lot we can do to help educate people and to help make a world where it's easier to manage the condition, put it into remission, or live well with it. Right. And really we're critical as a sort of lead diabetes charity in the UK to help lead that mission.
Absolutely. So could you tell us a little bit about your key member segments and how do they differ?
So in terms of conventional membership, subscription membership, we have a whole range of different segments of members. I mean, definitely people with the condition, I would say are the majority. Now, they will fall into people with type 2, people with type 1, and there are other types of, but much more sort of smaller groups of people with other types of diabetes. And I would say for as many people as there are types of diabetes, we will have those in our member segments. I suspect people with type 2 will be the biggest segment because that is the biggest majority of people with diabetes. We also have people who subscribe to membership who are friends and family of people with diabetes. And essentially, all of those people are looking for, I would say across all the segments, looking for a closer connection with the charity and with the condition to understand it and be on the forefront of knowing what's happening with research. And essentially, they're helping to fund the work of the charity with their regular subscriptions.
So it's a really important topic, obviously. So I suppose it's really important to build trust with your members. So how does Diabetes UK build that trust?
In lots of ways. I think, across the piece with charities, there's a lot of trust building to do because there have been various scandals over the last few years around fundraising. Olive Cook, the lady who received many requests for funding from different charities who ultimately committed suicide because of it. That really caused an issue for charities in terms of the trust people have with them in general. And then there have been other scandals around safeguarding in certain charities. So charities have a bit of a job to do at the moment in terms of trust building and encouraging people to feel confident. So, we're very aware of that, although obviously that was nothing that ever involved Diabetes UK. But we are aware that in whatever we do with our members and with our wider audiences, we have to build that trust. And essentially for me, that's about understanding our audiences, understanding what they need. We have a very audience-focused and audience-led approach to our content, being more personalised with what people get so it's more relevant to them and really understanding their needs so that what they're getting from us is that value add that they're looking for. So
away from those members in the audience, are there wider stakeholders that you're also working to build trust with?
Yes. More widely, we work, and certainly in our own organisation, we work across the organisation. We have to build trust with our own internal teams because we're often representing the work they're doing to our members. We have a clinical team as well who are really, really clear that everything has to be totally clinically approved. So we have to build trust with them that what we're doing is right for them, and they have to obviously approve it. And then we have audiences like NHS stakeholders, healthcare professionals, people in primary care, researchers. So they may not all be recipients of all our membership content, but they may be featured in the magazine or featured in our emails. And clearly it's vital for us to make sure those people are happy to contribute, be part of that, and also be our amplifiers. So if they know what we do and they trust it, they're more likely to talk to other people and to direct them back to us.
That's a lot of people to consider, isn't it? So What lines of communication do you have to build that trust?
With the wider audiences, I would say we build trust through working with our internal teams who may have links to those different audiences. If we're involving some of those stakeholders in the content we're creating, obviously we're talking to them directly. We're involving them in the content we're producing to make sure they're comfortable and they're happy with it. But I think at the heart of it, really, it's about making sure that our members themselves, the recipients of our magazine and our emails and everything, if they feel the trust, to me, that is the most important thing of all, I guess.
Absolutely. So with your audience, general audience, what kind of content do you serve them?
So our members, when people join Diabetes UK as a member, when they subscribe to membership, what they get is a welcome pack that will contain some of our patient information, a type 2 guide, a type 1 guide, the things that will give them the basic information about their condition and what they can do to avoid the risk of complications. Then they become subscribed to our quarterly magazine, Balance, which River work with us to produce each quarter. And they'll also get monthly emails, which again, where we try to keep them ahead of the curve where we can, so that we send out lots of emails to people in different for different reasons. But with members, we try to make sure that they hear about things just that little bit earlier than everybody else. And all of that content together is trying to bring the story of diabetes, the inspiration of members who've managed to either put it into remission or they've found ways to live really well. We bring all that together in a really editorial way. So our patient information is written in very patient information sort of basic way. We give them a much more editorial approach to our information. We look at debates that are going on in the world of diabetes in ways that you wouldn't get through our free content channels. So members are getting something extra.
Brilliant. So I suppose it's extremely important that content feels authentic and relevant. So how do you source the content that you create?
Well, we source the content through lots of different ways, but again, we look every quarter at what the big priorities are in our charity, because they're all built around what people with diabetes have told us they want and they need. So everything, again, very audience focused from the bottom up and the top down. And we try to theme our magazine, our quarterly magazine, around those big priorities. So the way we will source the people who contribute will be, again, by talking to our internal teams. So for instance, this year we focused on the remission of type 2 diabetes. There's lots of research that we're funding to show that you can put type 2 into remission. So we worked with the research team on what they were doing and the people they were working with. So we've got the direct study that's going on up in Newcastle with 2 very eminent researchers up there. So, we get access to them. We found somebody who hadn't been in the research but had put her own diabetes into remission, Rowley, who we put on the front cover. So we've got access to lots of experts within the organisation and outside. And then we've got forums on our website. We've got lots of ways that people with the condition who want to contact us can do. So we're always on the lookout for, those inspiring stories or those just real life stories that can help others see what's possible. And that's what we like to give our members as well.
Brilliant. So you're always working with the diabetes community, and
yes,
that's really fantastic. I suppose that is in itself authentic, and therefore the content that you're producing is so authentic and engaging for
absolutely
your members.
And in a way, the membership content, because it's more editorial and less straightforward patient information, it allows us to tell lots of the stories of diabetes through real people. So we have a cover story and a big section on that person's story. We also do what we call a lineup, where we'll have 4 or 5 people who've got a slightly different take on a diabetes topic. So we tell a lot of the stories of the condition through real people who actually know what it's all about. And the other thing that's interesting is at Diabetes UK, a lot of people there have diabetes themselves. So, if you ever want to check, whether what we're doing is is right or not. I mean, we've got plenty of people we can talk to outside of the organisation, but there's a lot of people inside who have it themselves. And a lot of the people who work there are very, very passionate about the cause as well. So it's a fantastic environment in which to work, actually, because it is all about people with the condition and what it is we can do to make a difference.
And that's the best kind of quality check, isn't it, really, working in that environment? So is the content that you create done in-house, or is it through an agency?
Well, it's a combination, because obviously we work with River on the fantastic quarterly magazine. So we have a really, really nice mix in that when I first began at Diabetes UK, I knew of River and I'd worked with them before, and I could see the difference they could bring to the look and feel of our magazine, which has absolutely happened. And again, we have this really nice sort of collaborative relationship where River have an editor who works on balance, but works very closely with our in-house membership sort of representative content producer. So in-house, we'll produce the monthly emails, but a lot of the content that will link to will have come from the work we've done in balance. And within balance, you know, we're videoing the cover story when they're on their photo shoot. So there's lots of really rich things that the agency, that River bring to the magazine experience. And it just sort of, it just works and melds really well with our in-house team. And again, everybody's working to the same mission, really. So it's a really productive and actually a great looking product, but a really productive relationship.
Fantastic. So we discussed earlier there are member segments for Diabetes UK with differing needs. Did you have to work quite hard to personalise the content accordingly?
The plan is that the monthly emails will be very much tailored to what the person's told us they're interested in. So if they're interested in type 1 and they're interested in tech for type 1 and they're interested in food, the idea will be in the future that they will receive emails that will cover those topics.
Brilliant.
At the moment, everybody receives an email that is, we design it around type 1 and type 2 because we always get the criticism levelled at us that we're too much for the other type of diabetes.
Right.
Now, I mean, we work painstakingly to make sure that we don't give more prominence to one over the other.
That's fascinating. So how is your audience responding to that at the moment?
Really well. I mean, when we first started working with River to try and certainly bring the magazine, give it a bit of a sort of shake up and a new look. It was at the time that we were moving from away from one payment model for membership to a new payment model. So there was a lot of interest in maintaining the loyalty of the current members and not having loads of them leave and decide to unsubscribe. And that has definitely worked. We didn't see lots of people leaving. We're now working with the membership team in terms of really trying to drive up membership, really promote the benefits of membership. But Balance, the magazine, is doing really well. We were up for an award. Well, Louise from River was up for an editor's award recently.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So, and the organisation itself feel very proud of the product that we've produced. And it's learning. The monthly emails are quite new for us, a new part of the membership package. And we're always looking for ways to, for me, it's about trying to join up. Membership is about making it easier in a way to access the information that different people and different audiences need, and to be closer to the organisation in terms of knowing what we're doing, looking at the research that we're funding. And so that's, again, it's how do we really bring that experience to life for people, where we are giving them a great package of value add content and experiences that go with it to help with their diabetes.
Fantastic. I was going to ask you, how do you want your members to feel when they read Diabetes UK? You've kind of answered it a bit there.
They need to feel emotionally connected. More, I mean, we want everybody to feel emotionally connected, and that's why I think being able to tell the stories of people with diabetes, or tell the story of diabetes through people with the condition, really helps to bring that emotional connection to life. We want them to feel like they really know what's going on, perhaps more than other people will, because we're giving them that package of information. And also give them confidence that as a charity, we're there really working hard. You know, diabetes never has a day off, and neither do we. Yeah. You know, we want to make sure that people understand that we're working hard for them every day. And in fact, members, because they're subscribing, they're actually helping to fund the charity, which of course is equally important. You know, we can't do anything without funding from individuals. So, you know, they're really special. They're a really special audience for us.
That's great to hear. And it sounds like you're creating content that's really engaging with them, that in a way that creates this sense of empathy that is obviously really rewarding for them.
Yes, and debate. Because the other thing is, you know, patient health information isn't there to drive debate. Patient health information, which is what we give to everybody on the website and in our printed guides, is all about explaining to people about the condition and how to manage it. But what we can do in the membership context is start to pick up on the debates that are going on in the world around diabetes and bring those to life. So again, there's an editorial element and a live conversation about the condition that we can surface in membership that you can't really in a sort of straightforward health context.
Are there specific actions that you want them to take?
Well, I want them to carry on being members because, again, that really helps the charity. You know, it's an important part of the funding for the charity. In behaviour change terms, I hope that everything they get from us as a member helps them to better understand how they can live well with diabetes, and what actions they need to take, where they need to go to get other information. And also that we inspire them to do that. So again, those stories of people with diabetes who are doing lots of different things to help themselves, I hope that really inspires them to make changes. Again, I hope they feel closer to the charity. There may be other things they want to do, like join an event. You know, we do Million Steps Challenge every year where people subscribe for 3 months to walk 1,000,000 steps. And that's not a membership event, that's for anybody. But again, we want to encourage our members to be aware of these things and to take part where it's both helpful to them and perhaps it's helping them support a charity that's really important to them. So I know the other thing is to amplify the work we do. So if they can be our amplifiers and speak about the charity with some knowledge because of the information that we give them, that's fantastic too. So, you know, we want to take care of them, but we hope that, you know, the fact that they're members already is that they want to help Diabetes UK to do that for more people.
Excellent. So did you measure that through research, or is there another metric that you use?
In terms of what members do, well, we have started doing an annual survey Out of Balance magazine just to make sure that the magazine itself is performing and that they really like it. And so that gives us lots of information about their likes and dislikes. Clearly, we're working with the membership team to look at how many people are remaining as members, how many new members we're acquiring. So that's obviously a key metric. I mean, if everything was not doing well, you know, we'd have to question what we're doing. But you know, happily that isn't the case. We look at our emails as well every month to make sure that what is the content that people are really responding to. And I can unequivocally say that food is the number one thing that people are really interested in. That and research, I think, are the most important things. But wherever we put food in the email, it can be the last block of the email. And the other thing a lot of people respond to is the comedian Arthur Smith. He does an online blog for us every month, which we link to from the email. And, you know, people really love that. So we're looking at lots of metrics all the time just to understand what's working, what isn't, where people are naturally, you know, gravitating to in terms of the content they're liking. Brilliant.
So you're happy with the results you've seen from your investment into content?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think what we've done is really work hard to get our house in order in a way. So, you know, that we have ambitions as a charity to encourage more people to be members. I mean, it's a great thing to do. I mean, you know, I'm not just saying that. It really is a fantastic way to be able to package information and diabetes conversations in a different and more value-add way. And as I say, because people are getting that value add while they're also providing income to the charity, you know, our ambition is to really increase membership. But I feel in terms of content, we're in a really good place. And I think maybe 2.5 years ago, we weren't. And now I think we're ready to go with that, you know, push to promote membership to a wider audience.
Brilliant. So as a kind of final statement, what do you think is the main benefit to your organisation of ensuring that your content is both authentic and relevant?
You know, for a leading health charity like Diabetes UK, content that is trusted, relevant and credible it's the number one thing we have to do. If we don't have that, we don't have the confidence of our key stakeholders and people who fundraise for us and people wanting to come to us to get the information they need to live well with diabetes. So it's absolutely the number one thing we need to make sure we're doing.
Fantastic. That's great advice. Why wouldn't you want to create relevant and authentic content? It's the best, most engaging kind. So Emma, thank you so much for coming and speaking with us today. You've given us some fantastic things to think about. So thank you ever so much. And we hope to speak to you again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's not information overload, it's filter failure.
So sick of being told something changed right in front of their eyes.
Enough is enough. Like, I'm not getting worse from this point.
How are the guys at Barcelona training? How are the guys at Man United training? Instead of just staying in the bubble.
A growing number of big brands are communicating with their customers through podcasts, helping engage on a whole new level.
Podcast listeners create strong trust with brands through podcast.
76% of UK listeners have acted on a podcast ad. Listenership is growing across all age groups, notably in young adults aged 15 to 24.
With around 1 in 5 now listening to podcasts every week.
Growing statistics like this prove that podcasts are a medium not to be ignored.
So, what's stopping you bringing your brand to the conversation?
River Sounds is a division of the River Group. We work with companies globally to create and distribute original podcasts to augment their branding and marketing efforts.
We leverage existing content, such as blogs and social media, to design, plan, create, and distribute high-quality podcasts.
We focus on creating podcasts that increase brand awareness, aid in customer education, and help support customer retention.
It's time for your brand to make some noise. River Sounds, bring your brand to the conversation.